Who do you think overall? Like, let's say there's no bullshit. Everybody's gonna be having their match.
Right.
I'm gonna stay to the narrative scope of things. So Lee's not involved or anything either.
Okay.
So like, this is during like the Neji, Naruto, etc. If and I'm gonna be honest, like dead ass. I don't know how you feel about this, but like Neji should have beaten Naruto. Like
I
he gave
agree.
him multiple opportunities to keep fighting and pressuring him.
Yeah.
He had many like opportunities to just beat him, and that's it. So if anything, I'm gonna take Naruto out of this because he should have fucking lost basically. But plot, you name it, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking. So if it was those individuals still, and it boils down to Gaara, Neji, and Sasuke, I think it still would have went the same. Obviously, Sasuke would have beat Gaara, and then they would probably stop the match. Because I don't think they're gonna let Gaara go on a fucking rampage.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to the curse mark. They're gonna like, what, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna shut that shit down.
Yeah, they are.
So then it'll be Sasuke and Neji.
Oh,
Who do you
shit.
think wins?
Sebastian, what do you think about that? Chunin exam Sasuke versus Chunin exam Neji. Who wins that?
And then Sasuke would have one Chidori left too. Keep that in mind.
Because you could only use 2 max. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what do you think, Sebastian? Who would win between those two?
Sasuke. It'd be the final 2 contestants. Yeah.
Sasuke or Neji?
I feel like it'd
one.
be Neji.
You lean towards Neji. How come? Why would you lean towards him?
Just simply because Sakura went alone, and plus, like, he was technically a better combat than you could say Rock Lee, and not in terms of strength, of course. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in terms of battle readiness in the fight,
Right.
and he would be able to exploit Sasuke too. I mean, sure, they would be vastly aware of what their clans are capable of, but I don't know. I just feel as though
You
he
lean
would
towards
be
Neji?
more in that situation. Yeah, more
So
Neji.
the way I look at it is,
I mean, because Sasuke even struggled against Rock Lee too.
yeah. So there's just some important facts we got to extrapolate. One, my guy says, well, Sasuke is about as fast as weightless Rock Lee. So obviously he's referring to base Rock Lee without weights. Well, Rock Lee has gates that he used in preparation for Neji, and Neji was told about it when he was fighting guards. Like, I have 4th, 5th gates. I think it was the 4th gate specifically. He's like, this is for you, Neji. So
yeah.
faster
But in the anime alone too, Jade, is to support that. And I'll let you, my bad. Even though it's anime, it's not stated in the manga, but in the anime, he literally Guy states it verbatim, like, "Oh, this technique's designed to beat Neji."
Yeah, exactly.
But like, no, but you take that out if you want. But go ahead.
Yeah, so my guy says that. So from that, you can make a deduction. With my guy being their sensei, knowing them better than anyone, you could say, well, Rock Lee is clearly superior to weightless Rock Lee, right? If this technique is specifically designed to defeat Neji, his speed must be significantly better. Then you could argue, well, his speed must be superior to base Sasuke. The only counter to that would be how fast would he be with the Chidori that he uses against Gaara. Some people argue that enhances your speed. Okay, you could argue that, but about how much? Is it enough to close the gap?
That's the problem.
Yeah, is it
Yeah,
enough
really
to close the
quantify.
gap between base weightless Rock Lee and 4th gate Rock Lee? I don't know about that. I don't know if it.
It's interesting because like Minato, he obviously states it verbatim. It does increase your speed, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then again, it's exactly what you said. Like we can't really quantify.
Yeah,
so
it's
how
hard to
far does it
quantify.
bring them? You know? Yeah.
It's hard to quantify. It's kind of an unquantifiable aspect of the fight. So he only has one of those though. He has one shot. He only has one shot. So the question is, would Neji's palm rotation be able to defend against it? If Gaara's sand shield failed to do it, would Neji's... I know his defense is stated as the best, though, so you got to take that into account as well. Neji's defense. So if his durability of his palm rotation is enough to counter that, then Sasuke would lose. Because then he'd have no... His best weapon is now gone.
Yeah, he's fucked, and the fireball's not going through that shit either.
Yeah,
so
and if he's only relative to fucking base Lee, weightless, Neji's fodderized.
Yeah.
And he whipped fucking Rock Lee's ass multiple occasions. You can even argue
Exactly.
in the first and second gate, because it seemed Neji was aware of those gates. As soon as he opened like the 4th or 5th, that's when he was like, oh shit. So you could even argue.
And I'm kind of leaning towards that, like Jay, to be honest, because like I feel like obviously Sasuke's gonna try to he's gonna use his Sharingan. Like he's not gonna just go with no Sharingan. He's not gonna underestimate fucking Neji. And he's gonna have Sharingan. He's gonna charge at him. Like they're gonna be feeling each other. But like if Neji's over here able to like beat fucking Weightless Lee's ass.
all the time. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure. Obviously, he should be able to react and deal with like Sasuke, whatnot. And if anything, like it's just they're going to be going at it, and Sasuke's not going to get anywhere. And then the moment he does that rotation, that's going to catch him off guard, like it did in Naruto, and it's going to fuck him up a bit. It won't one shot him, but it'll fuck him up. And then at that point, Sasuke will be like, all right, bet. And then he's just going to go Shidori. And then it just comes down to exactly what you said. Like, who takes it basically at that point.
Yeah.
And if Neji does it, then W. If you can argue that, like, Sasuke could go through it, then obviously W for Sasuke.
Yeah, it really comes down to your presupposition. If you think his durability is enough to tank a Chidori, then he would win because he would just have this. He'd be faster. It's almost clear as day. He'd be faster. Like Taijutsu exchange, he's going to shut down Sasuke's chakra network. And then the fucking curse mark would come into effect, which is a whole different story. But if it's just Sasuke, most likely loses. You could argue, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Neji, when he fought Kidomaru, his palm rotation was able to deflect all those spiders, and you could say, well, that was a version. I believe that was Kidomaru when he was using version 1, version 2.
Yeah, version 1, yeah.
And then you could,
and version 2, and version 2, yeah.
And version 2. So you could argue, well, if a version 2 curse mark Kidomaru's attack was negated, and then base Sasuke's Chidori shouldn't have.
It's more likely getting parried. Yeah,
his AP should be inferior to Kidomaru's. Hence, Neji would be able to deflect it.
But it kind of correlate that and tag it along even further. Like, look, I know this is some Boruto, regardless, but like in Boruto, there's a point where like fucking Neji's uncle does the rotation and he's able to beat Boruto's Rasengan, and this other guy's using lightning style on his sword. Right, and like he just fucks them both up.
Yeah, that would add.
So
that would kind of steelman the notion that the durability would be enough. Yeah, because
so there's that, But regardless how you want to take that, whatever. But then to even kind of to still go back to what you're saying, like even during when everyone's talking about Neji, like they say he has the best defense, like you stated.
Exactly.
They also state that that the whole point of that technique is to parry and counter it to where it reflects the damage back.
Yeah,
and basically, like makes you get hit basically by your own force of your own attack, and you're like taking less damage.
It mirrors it. Yeah, it's like a deflection.
Yeah, so it's like there's just a lot more. It's a lot more better, I guess. You know what I mean, to like argue Neji wise to where it more than likely would parry and counter Chidori. Right.
And then to counter myself, if you're arguing for Sasuke, I think it is stated that Sasuke was his strongest opponent Gaara faced.
That too, yeah.
And that would counter my argument. Like, well, if Sasuke is his strongest, but then to counter that you'd have to talk about semantics. Like maybe he just has more AP. He has more AP than Rock Lee, that makes sense. He has a Chidori.
Yeah, he has a Chidori.
Because this is the problem in Naruto. There's guys that are faster that would lose to guys that are slower. An example, Minato would lose to Hashirama. I mean, there's an argument that maybe Hashirama is faster, but if you presuppose that Hashirama is slower and you still think he beat Minato, I mean, speed, to me, it comes down to...
another thing, yeah. Like, another thing, too, with that, Jay, is fucking, like, yeah, sure, like, let's say Minato may be faster, but then wouldn't, like, his jutsu activation would kind of make up for it, like his wood style and shit, or sage mode, and shit like that.
Yeah, and then my argument for that is, well, it comes down to how much more significantly faster is the guy. If he's not that much faster, then it's still competitive, but obviously, if he's light speed and you're lightning time speed, you're getting fucking blitzed. But if the gap is close enough, it's contentious, and especially if the guy has a superior AP like Hashirama.
Kind of similar to Raikage and Sasuke with Susanoo. Like Raikage was way faster than him, so he had to use Susanoo. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, he had to use Susanoo. So it's contentious. There is some like inconsistencies. Like, oh, the guy that's faster should always win. Well, not necessarily. That's not always the case. Yeah. So I do lean towards Neji though. My opinions have changed, because there is the statement Sasuke is stronger, but rationally and empirically, that doesn't seem to be the case to me. So,
yeah, and so with that statement, you could just be like, oh yeah, so meaning if Sasuke does a Chidori, then he just basically beats anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
stronger, exactly. Yeah, so it's all semantics too. Semantics are also something important. So,
hey, little fun little jab then. Fucking imagine if they made Naruto like where he's fighting Neji and he just straight up summons Gambunta. Like, imagine.
That would be a fucking...
Like, I wonder what everyone's reaction would be to, like, especially Hiruzen. Like, he'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? I wonder what the...
You saw his reaction when they did it in the war?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all three of them? That was the first time you saw that? Yeah, like, and then, like, so imagine if he did that, like, at that point, that shit would be crazy.
That would be insane.
Like,
I would be like, I think
the fight would immediately concede, though,
yeah,
obviously.
the ref would be like, all right, this shit's over. It's over.
Yep.
That'd be fucking wild, man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Naruto that would be fucking insane if he actually summoned that dude.
Yeah, that'd be, like, just a flex, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
like,
like,
that shit would be funny.
Yeah, I mean, that guy was able to fuck with one tail with Gaara when he rampaged, so that's something. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay, we're able to hold down the Nine Tails.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Neji versus Sasuke is an interesting one. That's always going to be debated amongst the fandom. They always have their.
It's very. I feel like it was a fight that like was kind of teased in a way too.
Yeah, really
like we were supposed to get it, but we never got it.
Would have answered the question, but.
Oh, actually, hey Jay, another thing I just remember this kind of support what you were saying with the fucking spider dude.
Yeah.
Neji saw Sasuke go to CM1 like with full purple chakra and shit and everything, and he wasn't even phased though. Fact. He just like turns off his Bakugan and he's like, "Yeah, you guys have a bigger problem. You can deal with him instead of me." Because he's like he's bloodthirsty, about to fuck their ass up, exactly. And then he sees Sasuke and he's like, all right, bet. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So from that body language, it implies like, oh, okay, you're not superior to me, but you can handle this. Like, oh, I'll just dip.
And it's interesting because like when he saw fourth gate or fifth, like it was fourth gate Lee. He's like you could clearly see his expression. He's like, oh, his fucking
expression was visibly different.
But with CM1 Sasuke, he's just like, all right, cool. He's strong.
I'm just gonna dip. Yeah, it's definitely that you could argue like that implies. Sasuke's CM inferiority to Kidomaru at that point because he didn't perfect the CM. He was still like
with nowhere. Yeah, so Saikon talks about it.
Yeah, and that would steelman the AP argument that he would be able to tank a Chidori from Sasuke even with curse mark. With that argument, you could even argue with the curse mark awaken, he'd still be able to deal with the Chidori. So
exactly. Yeah. I just fucking thought of that shit, and it's just funny. And obviously, it's nowhere near. Until like the retrieval arc, like Saikon even has a whole fucking speech with him, like, yeah, your curse mark shit. Exactly. Like you need to, in order to get CM2, you need to do this shit, blah blah.
Yeah, that's why they beat his ass after like your father.
Yeah, he did CM1, and then Saikon does CM1 and just beats his ass. He's like
that clearly establishes, that clearly, and I'm pretty sure somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, it stated that Kidomaru stated as the strongest of the four. I think that might have been.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think to it. If Saikon whipped his ass,
was it base that he beat him all? Was it base?
I think like in Prime? That might have been the case, but that would have steelman even further. Like, dude, Kidomaru would beat Saikon, and Saikon whipped fucking CM Sasuke. Like, it's pretty clear. So,
so
all that adds to it. All steelman's the whole idea. So.
Exactly. It's kind of just as simple as that, bread and butter.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting though.